Apparently, Uber has suspended its diversity chief. How do they do diversity now at Uber? Do they hire people based on merit? Jesus Christ, can you imagine that? That would be horrible. Very racist. Like, how can you hire people based on arbitrary characteristics if you do not pay a person hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to be the diversity chief? But anyway, right? She also needs to make people feel included, and this is the problem because she sparked a conversation about calling people Karens. Now, apparently, Karen is a racial, racial gendered slur. See, I thought it's just gendered, but apparently it's racial as well. It's the idea this is how it started, by the way, is the bourgeoisie middle class white woman which is unhappy that her latte isn't exactly 120 Fahrenheit, and she calls the manager trying to get some low unemployed person fired, right? Like, that's why the term existed, is to shame people to stop doing that. Like, that's the principle of why offensive words exist in a society. You know, like when you're a kid and you go out and you behave inappropriately, the other kids in society shames you until you behave properly, right? So there is like a training thing that's happening. It's like, don't do that. You know, don't try to get someone else's job fired because your latte isn't exactly 120 degrees. However, it has evolved from that to the point where Karen is literally like any white woman which is calling the cops, like we have seen with the bike Karen thing, which is in the news right now, when it appears that that lady is being vindicated. But simply like any altercation, any inconvenience that a person has, if they happen to be a woman and if their racial lottery isn't adequate and they're on videotape, then yeah, they're going to be called Karen. So the diversity at Uber actually talked about this. And the ride-hailing app has confirmed that it has asked Bo Young Lee, who has led its diversity, equity, and inclusion department for 5 years, to take a leave of absence. By the way, every single time I see one of these chief diversity officers, like, they're almost 90% women, and most of the time they're women of color, and yet you still see cisgender, straight, white, patriarchal men going at grievance studies universities, and I'm wondering, like, what exactly do you want to be when you grow up? Because you can't like be a diversity chief officer, right? You're not going to make the big bucks because they don't hire you there. It's kind of like seeing a woman going to a Catholic university where people study to become a priest. I mean, you can do that, you know, you can get the knowledge, but you're never going to become a priest due to the nature of the religion. So this is the same question that I asked the cisgender, straight, white, patriarchal men. Why do they go to the grievance studies, right? Because it costs a lot of money. I mean, if you just want to know the knowledge, you can get it off the internet. But anyway, so Lee's suspension, which was first reported by the New York Times, follows mounting internal discontent over the Don't Call Me Karen sessions that she used Zoom to talk to 500 of her employees. The events, one in April and the second last week, were billed as diving into the spectrum of American white women's experience from that of our female colleagues, particularly how they navigate around the Karen persona. My God, the corpo speak is like drilling something into my brain, right? How many times do normal people use the word navigate when it comes to a person's behavior? Like, how do you navigate the American white woman experience? Where do you learn corpo speak, right? Because, like, you notice they all talk the same. Like, regardless of the company they come from or the American state, they all use these bizarre words, diving into the spectrum. Like, what the fuck? Like they must learn it from someplace. It's just, like, really bizarre. So the sessions were held as part of a moving forward series of discussions on race and minority experiences. This is why you need to go and work at Uber, right? So you can learn about the experiences of minorities and white women into the United States of America. You know, like I would think they would learn how to make the app run better, but I guess like all of that is already taken into account. You know, like why not teach people how to code? Like if you're going to waste their time, why not teach them how to give first aid, how to do carpentry? You know, like some actual skill that they can use. Probably they don't want to teach an actual skill because then they would quit Uber and do something else. They would become entrepreneurs. But still, apparently, moving forward into the discussion in the wake of the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests, the focus on the discomfort of white women, specifically over the term Karen, was denounced by several employees as being insensitive towards people of color. Yes, so to summarize the social justice ideology or the woke ideology or however you want to call them, people say they don't have a principle. They do. They have two principles actually, right? Like the first thing is that they believe they have completely understood the human experience, right? So they have now classified human beings based on arbitrary characteristics and they put them in a pyramid that is funnily named the pyramid of oppression. So based on your arbitrary characteristics, like if you're a man, if you're a woman, your sexuality, your race, you get to be on one place of the pyramid. Now, when you're in that place, you're in that tribe, they put you in a box, and they consider that it's okay for people from the lower branches of the pyramid to punch up, right? So punching up, like you can do anything you want to the person that's on top of you. But the person that's on top of you is not allowed to respond in any way. So for example, like they will say, women are oppressed, right? So women get on the pyramid below men. So women are allowed to punch up. You know, like you can see those hashtags on Twitter, hashtag yes all men, hashtag all men are raped, blah, blah, blah. Like all of those things are allowed because it's called punching up. And the reason the system exists is due to the fact that the people who do the punching enjoy doing the punching. It's cathartic. You know, you go online, you get to act like a sociopath, you say shit about other people just because it's socially acceptable and you can get away with it. The problem happens when you realize that the pyramid keeps going, right? So you may be a woman, but there are other people that are beneath you on the level of the pyramid. So for example, minorities, right? Like you as a woman, yes, you're considered to be on the pyramid below the cisgender heteronormative patriarchal man. However, below you, there might be minorities. Now, the minorities, just like you're allowed to punch up when it comes to the men, minorities are allowed to punch up because you're a white woman. So, by supporting this system, right, which is a system that doesn't really have equality, doesn't really promote that we need to treat people based on their character and not the color of the skin, by supporting this system, inevitably you're going to end up with other people attacking you and you can't do anything about it. You can't do jack shit. So, when this diversity officer comes up and it's like, okay, well, you know, it's not okay to call people Karens, well, the minority goes, but like, we like doing that. It's cathartic. Right? So, now they can use their power in order to get this person in trouble. Ana Kasperia from the Young Turks does not appreciate this, and I will make a live stream where we talk about it, and like right after this, it's absolutely hilarious. It's a 20-minute, I believe, clip with her being upset about it, and we're going to talk. If you guys just click on the live stream, it's going to be in